Hey, before we dive into this week's episode, if you've been enjoying the show, I'd love your support. Take just 10 seconds to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps others discover the wisdom and inspiration that I share on the Pivot to Balance podcast. Let's build a community of balance seekers together. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to share the love. Now let's dive into the episode. Hello and welcome to the Pivot to Balance podcast. I'm your host, AK, and I hope you're doing well. In a world that pulls us in a million different directions and with a billion distractions, finding balance can feel like an ambiguous quest. Join me on this podcast as I try to navigate life's twists and turns with mindfulness, purpose, and grace. In each episode, we will dive into topics like self-care, personal growth, mindset shifts by sharing practical insights, stories, and maybe even interviews. Get ready to pivot, to recalibrate, and find your balance. Follow the Pivot to Balance podcast, and I will see you on the other side. Hello, everyone. I know it's been a bit. It has been almost 2 months since I recorded the Pivot to Balance podcast, and to be completely transparent, I've tried to record an episode for the past couple of weeks, and I just didn't like what I was talking about because I don't think it's right for me to come on this podcast and talk about balance when I clearly was not in a place where I had a lot of balance. The last couple of months have been really hard. I just didn't balance anything. It was just becoming too much for me. But I'm good now and I'm back. I'm out of the rut. I have my creative juices back. I am just so excited about that. So I just grabbed my lemon water with some chia seeds in it because it just tastes a little bit better. So I actually went back and read one of my articles that I think I wrote 2 years ago. And that motivated me. And I was like, wait, I do know how to get out of a rut. I do know how to plan my life. I do know how to be productive. So today we're going to talk about how you can transform your productivity. Maybe not forever, but at least for a little bit in just one Sunday. So let's dive right in. I'm going to talk about the obvious. We've all heard it before. Planning is key. But how many of us actually take the time to plan our week meticulously? I am someone that totally believes in having a calendar, and the problem last few months was I had a lot of different email IDs for different purposes, and I had different Google calendars for everything, and that's what really was a big challenge for me. And I personally think Google Calendar is the best calendar out there. I'm going to give you some categories that I've been using on my calendar to get back on track, and it's definitely color-coded because that makes all the difference. So if you're driving, don't do anything now. Pause this podcast, come back and listen to it later. Or go grab a piece of paper and write these things down so you don't miss out on them. So the first thing is you need to include your morning routine. That includes everything from brushing your teeth to having breakfast. That should be your first category. And the next one is meetings. So if you're someone with a lot of meetings, schedule them so that you avoid overlaps. Even if it's a call with a friend, if you know beforehand that you're going to have a call with a friend, I would say schedule them just for your reference. It's not like you have to send your friend the calendar invite. It just makes things a lot more smoother for you. I like being on autopilot for all of these things because I don't want to think about what I'm going to do next. So this has been really helpful. The third thing is workout reminders. Set reminders to get up every 30 minutes and also schedule your entire workout. I have this reminder on my phone where it's like, just get up. You don't have to walk like an actual walk. You just need to get up from your seat. Because I work full time and I'm just sitting on my desk, looking at my computer, doing my Excel sheet stuff. But I have a reminder that reminds me to get up every 30 minutes. Just get up. You don't have to do anything and it's good for your body. And when it comes to your entire workout, I would suggest block out an entire time and have it on your calendar. Like, hey, today's leg day. Here are the workouts that I'm going to do so that you can reduce the amount of time you're going to think about it. The next one, the fourth thing is lunch and snack breaks. These are a must to keep your energy levels up. I am someone that totally believes in balance. A lot of people know that I do a lot of different things. And a lot of people think that I'm like, oh, she has no time for anything. Actually, that's not the truth. I have a lot of time for a lot of different things. And this is why I don't really appreciate it when people say I have no time for anything. No, it's just you don't have that as a priority on your list. Nobody's supposed to say that I don't have time for something. as a way of like, oh, I actually don't have time for it. No, you do have time for it. You just haven't made it a priority. Lunch and snack breaks are super important. I've never missed lunch. I don't believe in missing my lunch unless I don't feel like eating. I don't force my body to do anything that it doesn't want to do. But I do think it's important for you to schedule these breaks because listen, working through lunch, I don't believe in it. I will never attend meetings. If you set it up during my lunch break, I'm going to take it like half an hour after that. But there's no way I'm missing lunch. And I like taking a lunch break. The next one is to read. Listen, you cannot say that I don't have time to read. Again, you have to make time to read. You have to make the time to read books. Plan what you want to read and how much you want to read. If you feel like tomorrow morning, I'm going to have an overwhelming day. I don't want to read more than 5 pages or 2 pages. That's okay. But schedule that because that makes it a lot more easier. The next one is to watch. We all need time to watch Netflix, YouTube, to scroll on Instagram. Allow yourself to do that. Even time block that because that, I think it's super helpful. I have 30 minutes on my calendar that lets me scroll on Instagram. Yes, I do scroll on Instagram when I'm walking and that's okay. But I mean like when you have an allocated time, it's like you're telling your brain, once you get all of these tasks done, you have the time to go watch YouTube, to go scroll on Instagram. It's like a reward system for your brain. The next thing is appointments. So any appointments that you have obviously has to go on your calendar, dentist, eye checkups, you name it. The next one is follow-ups. The amount of times I've had to follow up on certain tasks or follow up with certain people and I just forget about it because I'm like, oh, it's on my list of things to do, but it's not on my calendar. So I'll forget about it. So I'd say, I don't think you should have 15 different lists for 15 different things. Instead, have it all on your Google Calendar. So it's like, oh, I'm going to do it at this time. So you don't have to think about, wait, what did I forget? I wanted to do something, but I don't remember what I wanted to do. I don't think anybody should go through that. So put it on your calendar. And the last one is like general reminders, changing lenses, oh, I just need to remember to tell someone something, like or wish someone a birthday, like general reminders. But make sure for all of these 9 things, you're color coding them. You have to categorize them so it helps keep your schedule organized and visually appealing. The next one I'm going to talk about is mixing up your routine. It's easy to feel like a hamster on a wheel when your routine becomes monotonous. Mixing up your routine can add excitement and prevent burnout. So here are some small changes that I think you can make, which has helped me and I think it will help you. The first thing is morning routine. For example, I usually have my green tea or my lemon water in the morning. I actually have lemon water with green tea in the morning. I do that after I get up from bed, make my bed, and then I have that lemon water green tea. So sometimes what I do is get up from my bed, open the windows, make sure that the air is coming in, there's some circulation in the room, and then I go make my green tea with lemon water. When I say I like autopilot, sometimes it can feel a bit boring, right? It's like, great, I've made it to the gym, now what? Your body, your mind, it needs some change every now and then. So the small alteration can have your brain going like, wait, what is she doing? This is not how she used to do these things and now she's changing it up. And that's a good thing for your brain. The second thing is 30 minutes to yourself. I'm someone that wakes up and checks her phone. Like the first thing I do is get up and check my phone. I'm guilty of it. But I've been trying not to do that every single morning. I do it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I've tried to limit my screen time. I've tried to stay off of my phone in the mornings. I will tell you one thing. When I use my phone on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays in the morning for like more than 35, 40 minutes, I'm so drained. I feel drained the entire day because your brain is just waking up with you and you're bombarding with so much information that makes no sense. That's not going to add any value to you. I used to think about this, and I've been thinking about this. When I was growing up, entertainment was just like something you did on a Sunday, or you would do that for 30 minutes or an hour on a day. But now entertainment is our life, and we forget to live our actual lives. I don't know. I'm trying to change it, and it's not easy at all. I am there with you if you feel that way. It's so easy to say, limit social media, don't talk to people in the morning. But it's not that easy, and just taking 30 minutes of your time to yourself can be really helpful. It's helped me so much. The third thing is, of course, avoid checking socials the first thing in the morning. Like I said, with a calendar, set specific time blocks for this because that will actually help you focus on whatever it is you're watching, right? You don't have to feel guilty about using social media or watching YouTube when you have that specific time blocked for that. The fourth thing is stay focused. When your calendar has all of your schedule, like your morning routine on it, it's so easy to get through them. It's like, oh, I've done this. What next? What's next? What's next? And then you check off tasks as you complete them. I love that. And I have a morning routine checklist template linked to the description. So if you want to download that, go ahead and download that. It might be a little intense, but that's my morning routine. If you want to follow that, that's great. If you want to omit a few of them, you're like, this girl is crazy, you don't have to do that. The next thing is organize your time. Organization is so important for productivity. Techniques like Pomodoro technique or day theming can really help. The first thing is to turn on notifications for Google Calendar and block everything else. This way you don't miss any tasks. The second thing is have one Gmail. Don't be like me. I don't think anybody is like me. I have a couple different emails for a couple different reasons, but I've learned that it's not working out well for me. So I have my one full-time official company given email and then one of my other emails. And that has everything in it. Third thing is, like I said, color code categories, because that can help you. It's not that easy at first, but then as you keep looking at it, you'll just understand like, oh, if it's brown, it's this one. If it's blue, it's this one. And that's a very easy way to like train your brain. The fourth thing is share your calendar. Let others know when you're unavailable without sharing specific details. Of course, you can go and change that in the privacy settings. My brain immediately stops when someone asks me outside of work, like, hey, when are you available? I want to have a one-on-one with you, like on LinkedIn. My brain immediately stops working because I don't know what my schedule is. I just look at my calendar. Yes, I'm so dependent on my calendar. I have a separate link which will help people look at my schedule and be like, okay, she's available at these times. I can talk to her at these times. It doesn't matter what people think about you. I know that I even love doing this with my close friends when they're like, oh, I want to talk to you. I want to schedule some meeting with you. I love doing this. But there are times when I have like specific time blocks where it says I am not doing anything at these times. So when people call me at those times, they don't really need to look at my calendar because, you know, really close friends always know what you're doing when you're doing it. It's funny, but they just do. And then the fifth thing is set recurring events for daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. Make sure that it's recurring so you don't have to go and update it every single day. The next thing is set up inspiration. Surround yourself with inspiration because like inspiring quotes, motivation, like things that help you become creative, that's so important. This is why I love my vision board, which I took down a couple months ago because my vision board was like not making sense to me anymore. I wanted to switch up and you're allowed to do that. And I did. When I revised my vision board, things just feel a lot more better for me right now. And even on my phone, like wallpaper or things that you watch, people that you talk to, all of these things are super important. For example, I love listening to podcasts in the morning. If you've ever read or listened to anything that I've ever done, you would know that I listen to podcasts in the morning. One thing that I love to do when I'm listening to podcasts is my phone is somewhere else just playing the podcast or it's playing on my laptop. I do like taking down notes when I feel like, wait, I've never thought about this before. And I love taking that down. So I have a notebook, which is just for like my idea dumping book. I love taking things down there and I go, sometimes I'm swifting through these pages and I'm like, wait, what is this? I don't remember writing this down. And I don't know, because whenever I need inspiration, I kind of go back to that book. I completely forgot that I used to do this. I stopped doing it, but now I'm back at it. And I feel like inspiration is everywhere. You just have to look for it. The next one is multitasking. I've talked about this before. Multitasking might seem productive, but it actually splits your focus. You're actually single tasking. It just makes you feel like you're doing multiple things. So what you can do instead, first, delegate tasks. If possible, hand over tasks to someone else. Just ask someone else to do it. The second one is complete tasks efficiently. Focus on key points to finish tasks faster. So let's say that, hey, I want to finish this assignment and I have a deadline like 2 weeks from now. Complete it now so you never have to think about it. It's so easy. I never did this as a student, but I did do that when I was doing my master's degree because it became a lot more easier for me. The third thing is write down distractions. When you're focusing on a task, it's so easy to get all these other tasks, right? Like, oh, I need to do that. Oh, I should remember to do this. Instead of dwelling on that and thinking about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, just write it down on a piece of paper and then get back to it later. Remember, getting distracted for 5 seconds can actually cost you 20 minutes to refocus. The next thing is journal your journey. Of course, I've talked about journaling before. I always talk about journaling. Journaling, especially a gratitude journal, can be incredibly rewarding. I've been journaling for the last 4.5 years. And whenever I go back to my old journals and look at the things I've been grateful for, I don't even remember these things happening. And I don't know, it just feels so good to see how much we grow as a person, even in just a year. And the next thing is write down your morning goals, track your achievements. Even ticking off one task is a win. Reflecting on what you're grateful for helps maintain a positive outlook. And remember, not all days need to be productive. Take it from someone who has not been extremely productive the last 4 months. Sometimes it's okay to just breathe and relax. It's completely fine. I use the 5-minute journal that's very popular. I don't think I even have to tell people where to buy it, but just in case you need it, it's in the description. And that's what I got for today's episode. It has been so long since I've been able to sit and record the Pivot to Balance podcast, because I believe for this podcast especially, because it's not like the Marketing Women podcast, that is me just being passionate about marketing and sharing whatever it is that I'm learning. And there are so many ways for me to keep learning marketing. But the Pivot to Balance podcast is based on what I am experiencing and what I've been learning. It's super tough to talk about balance. It's super tough to talk about motivation and, being driven, but also staying grounded when you're not exactly that person. And I don't want to just talk about things just because I can talk about them. So don't forget to rate and review this podcast, because I know it's been a bit, but I'm back and I will be here. Thank you so much for listening. Go grab the cup of lemon water and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.